I have the very distinguished pleasure to introduce our musical guest tonight, one of Nashville's finest songwriters, musicians, and a Grammy Award winner, Marcus Hummon.
Wanna run and run and run till I reach the end. Dream beyond this desert land, see what lies ahead. Will I find myself out there, or will I find true love? How will I ever know if I just crumble here in the dust in the border town? Will I be received in the border town? How I hope there's a place for me. Say when you cross over, you don't never come back. The men are wild at heart out there, and all the women are fast with forgiveness. Loose with I love you. What else would I do except sit like a ghost on a broken Ferris wheel here in the border town? Will I be received in the border town? How I hope there's a place for me. Oh, a place for me. I'm going to go ahead and do one of the songs I wrote with Marty, who's the fiddling sister in the Dixie Chicks. I want to touch the earth. I want to break it in my hands. I want to grow something wild and unruly. I want to sleep on the hard ground in the comfort of your arms, on a pillow of blue bonnets, a blanket made of stars. Oh, it sounds good to me. She said, cowboy, take me away. Fly this girl as high as you can into the wild blue. Set me free, oh, I pray. Closer to heaven above and closer to you. Closer to you. I want to walk and not run. I want to skip and not fall. I want to look at the horizon and not see you building standing tall. I want to be the only one for miles and miles, except for maybe you and your simple smile. Oh, it sounds good to me. Yes, it sounds so good to me. Oh, cowboy, take me away. Fly this girl as high as you can into the wild blue. Set me free, oh, I pray. Closer to heaven above and closer to you, closer to you. I wanna touch the earth, I wanna break it in my hands, I wanna grow something wild and unruly. Thank you. I set out on a narrow way many years ago, hoping I would find true love along that broken road. But I got lost a time or two. I wiped my brow, kept pushing through. I couldn't see how every sign pointed straight to you. And every long lost dream led me to where you are. And others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pointed me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know it's true, that God blessed the broken road and led me straight to you. Oh, I think of all the years I spent just passing through. I'd like to take that time I lost, give it back to you. But you just smile and you take my hand. You've been there, you understand. It's all part of some grander plan that is coming true. And every long lost dream led me to where you are. And others who broke my heart, they were like northern stars, pointing me on my way into your loving arms. This much I know it's true, that God blessed the broken road and led me straight to you. This much I know it's true, that God blessed the broken road and led me straight to you. Thank you all very much. Have a great dinner and we'll have a wonderful evening.
Our keynote speaker tonight is the Reverend Dr. Judy Cummings, the senior pastor of New Covenant Christian Church and the first woman president of the Interdenominational Ministers Fellowship. She's a very passionate and powerful advocate for social justice here in Nashville. I was blessed to hear her as the keynote at the NOAA Covenanting Convention, and so I know that we're ready for a very exceptional talk tonight. So the Reverend Dr. Judy Cummings.
I am so delighted to be here on tonight. I really want to thank Nell Levine and TAP for inviting me to come and to just share on this wonderful occasion where we set aside time to recognize the achievements of those who are on the front line of justice. I want to thank Dan for that wonderful introduction. I'm used to a pulpit, and I don't see one, but that's okay. But I'm pleased to be here tonight to join in celebrating this wonderful occasion, and I do bring greetings to you from New Covenant Christian Church, Disciples of Christ, where I'm privileged to pastor. and from the Interdenominational Ministers Fellowship, where I'm privileged to be the president, and also from NOAA. Thank you. Also from NOAA, Nashville Organized for Action and Hope, where I'm privileged to serve on the executive committee as the recruitment chair. So if any of you are interested tonight, you can just come and see me. I am privileged to be able to serve with those three organizations, to be able to do the work of justice. And so it is with great pleasure that I share on tonight for the occasion of recognizing the achievement of people, as I said, who are on the front line, those folk who are working their butts off. Come on. Yeah. Working their butts off to transform this community to become more like the beloved community that the activists of activists, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. envisioned, dreamed one day that could be, one day that would be, that we would all live in the beloved community. So congratulations. Won't you join me in congratulating those persons tonight who will receive the Long Haul Award. You know, being recognized for any award is always special, but being recognized for this Long Haul Award is an even greater honor, as it recognizes the contributions that you make to successfully address and to challenge some of the most critical challenges that are facing our society today. And today we are indeed faced with critical challenges that demand our attention. A quote that really resonates with me for tonight, and I want to hang my hat on, an unknown author said, life's problems wouldn't be called hurdles if there wasn't a way to get over them. Life's problems would not be called hurdles if there was not a way to get over them. Well, tonight we come to celebrate a group of phenomenal people who have found unconventional ways to get over hurdles. These heroes and these sheroes have taken the risk to go out and to do something, And all of us are called to do something. That what you do may never get you one of these plaques, but you ought to be doing something. You ought not leave this life until you have done something to help get over the hurdle. They are courageously finding effective solutions to some of our most difficult problems, to make a difference, even when it means, or especially when it means, that you're upsetting the status quo. You see, they do this work by listening to the people that they serve. You see, I know when I look out in this room, I see a lot of people with big hearts, and you want to do a lot of stuff. But you need to learn how to listen to the people that you are serving. Because until you have walked in their shoes, you don't really know what it is that they need, what it is that they want. So it might mean upsetting the status quo. So they do it by listening. They do it by doing community service, by doing justice, doing civic engagement, and by speaking truth to power. That's what we are called to do. Many are called now. Be clear. Many are called, but I believe that only a few are chosen to do the work of justice. And I want to ask tonight, are there any folk in the room tonight who are called to do the work of justice? You see, it's easy to talk about justice. It's easy to critique the situation. But are you called to do anything about it? As I prepared for tonight, I thought about Nashville Organized for Action and Hope, NOAA, and the justice work that this powerful community organization that brings together congregations and nonprofits and unions to work together for the justice. I thought about the work that this organization will be able to do. And I thought about the people who are working with NOAA, and many of your faces appeared before me. And so I look out and I see some of you here tonight who are already members and already a part of NOAA. And I look around this room and I see a sea of faces, and each one of your faces tells a story. And so tonight when we were in the reception, we heard some of the stories. We heard the stories of Dr. Charles Kimbrough. We heard the stories of his wife, Blondell Kimbrough. We heard their stories. And all of us, if you had a chance, you would be able to come up here and tell your story. But especially, I look out tonight and I see the faces of those that are being recognized tonight. And I know many of your stories, the story of those that are being honored tonight. And many of you, you come from different backgrounds. You come from diverse backgrounds. And I was just at the table and I was talking about, I'm from the south side of Chicago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago. And baby, I have a story. I have a story. Many of you coming from different backgrounds, you too have a story. You have many life experiences, and yet all of us, no matter what background we come from, no matter what diversity we come from, we all have at least one thing in common, and that is our willingness to give our time to help others realize a quality of life, to do the work of justice and advocacy, even in the face of adversity, and risk not being popular. Oh, yeah. But how many of you know that life is not meant to be lived trying to win a popularity contest? I thought about the fact that NOAA will not be popular. and that while tonight you are honored for your work, you will not be popular. As a matter of fact, you're going to agitate some folk. You're going to get on some folk nerves. And if you don't, then you're not doing the work of justice. But we're called to agitate as we advocate. It is to this end that I am humbled by your generosity and of spirit and your compassion for your fellow human beings. It is all of you who so generously give of your time, your warmth, your humor, your caring. It is all of you doing what you do, jumping over the hurdles by any means necessary. And you know, when you see those runners running and they're headed for that hurdle, sometimes their back foot will catch that hurdle, and the hurdle will be what? Knocked down. Sometimes we have to not only jump over the hurdle, but we might have to even knock it down. And that takes courage, and that takes strength. Dr. King's philosophy of the triple evils of poverty, racism, and militarism are forms of violence that exist in a vicious cycle. They are interrelated, all-inclusive, and stand as barriers to our living in the beloved community. You see, Dr. King felt strongly that even when the work to remedy one evil is done, it will affect all evils. So don't think that the work you're doing in your corner is small. It has a way of affecting all evils, all of the work that everyone in this room is doing is important work. And it is work that is knocking down hurdles. So thank you. Thank you for giving yourselves away, creating the necessary tension needed to bring about the healing that is needed for America's troubling soul. And we know full well that the soul of America is troubled when we see the triple evils at work. That is, when technology, vast communication systems, profit-driven markets of materialism outpace wisdom to implement justice in every sphere of our society, and a widening gap between the dream of justice of what America has actually become. Peter Dreyer reported in the Huffington Post that in the next decade, America would be transformed by a new wave of progressive activism led primarily by organizers, thinkers, and politicians who are born after 1960. Let me see your hand if you are in this room and you were born after 1960. Yeah, you the one. You're the one. He observed that this phenomenon is already bubbling to below the surface in workplaces, in neighborhoods, in churches, college campuses, think tanks, and foundation offices. You see, Dreyer reported that many of these young progressives have already waged successful campaigns to win public office, to change public policy, and to inject new ideas into our political culture. Certainly, Dreyer's prediction rang true here in Nashville. Not only do the results of the recent election, where an unprecedented number of young adults were elected, support his prediction, but also many of those being recognized here tonight who fully embrace Dr. King's view that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and are willing to put themselves on the front line to bring about a more just society. They are here. Those folk who were born before 1960, they are here tonight because they are making a difference in our society. You see, born in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, long before these Hall Award recipients inherited an America, according to Dreyer, that seems to be holding its breath, trying to decide what kind of country it wants to be. Many of them may not be well known, those who just held up their hands. They may not be well known outside of Nashville, but each of them, as part of organizations and movements for change, have already begun to shape the contours of our Nashville society in the 21st century. And each of them is destined to keep reshaping it in the decades to come. It will take courage, but I believe they have the courage to do it. Now, none more courageously helped America face its flaws than Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And none more courageously will help Nashville face her flaws than the recipients of the 2014 Long Haul Awards, demonstrating their commitment and effectiveness in improving the quality of life, economic equality, health and educational opportunities for families in Nashville. They are members of what Dreyer terms the new wave of progressive activists. They have picked up the batons of justice, not willing to be satisfied with justice delayed or justice denied. They're just not talking the talk, but they are walking the walk. And tonight, we are exceedingly proud of them. But not only must we be proud of them, but we old school social justice folk, we must be willing to help them to work, to help mobilize this next generation of activists. We must throw our weight behind them. We must give them our support, give them our wisdom, and give them our strength to pull down the pharaohs of oppression, to pull down and to wage warfare on poverty, to pull down and wage warfare on inequity in education, to pull down and wage warfare on inequity in access to health care, to pull down and wage warfare in inequity in housing, inequity in wages, and inequity in immigration reform. We must help them. Old school social justice workers, born before 1960, pass the baton, get behind them, help them to do it. I close with another quote from my hero, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Keep going. Don't quit. Hold on. No matter how hopeless it might seem, no matter how hard it might be, no matter how steep the hill that you might have to climb, no matter how many times you have to stand by yourself, keep going. Don't quit. Have faith, live strong, and never give up the fight." God bless you.
Our first award that we're going to be handing out tonight is the Lifetime Achievement Award. This is the big deal. This is people who have spent their whole lifetimes dedicated to equality, justice, a better society. So our first recipient goes to Stuart Clifton. Woo! He is an attorney, a consultant. He's worked for social justice issues for decades in our community, doing a whole lot on, we got pictures. He's done a whole lot around local policy. He's currently the vice chair of the Metro Planning Commission, and he's been there for quite a while. And I know him as an outspoken advocate for affordable housing. So welcome, thanks.
Thank you very much. It is a real honor to get this. I've worked with Tennessee Alliance for Progress for a long time, and I was so happy to hear Judy today, who sat with me for 12 years on the Metro Planning Commission, and only left, I think, because not because of anything I said, but because of the new responsibilities of IMF, which is a wonderful position for you. I was also pleased to hear say that those of us who were born before 1960 don't have to do anything else. That was, thank you. Because I'm really tired and... Right. And you stole my thunder, because the thing I want to finish with is not so much about the great clients who make me look good, like Tennessee Conservation Voters and League of Women Voters and others, but it's just to leave one thought with you. It's a local issue, a state issue, but mostly a local issue, and we cannot emphasize it enough because it's becoming more and more obvious that this community has got some crying needs, and I'll leave you with 2 words: affordable housing. That's it.
Amen. Our next recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award is Jane Hussein. Woo. Jane is a professional troublemaker, a longtime activist and educator. She is so passionate about peace, justice, sustainability. She's been very active in the Nashville Peace and Justice Center, and she continues to help train and inspire the next generation of activists and organizers. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you, everybody, for all the work that you do. And remember, www.nashvillepeacejustice.org. Come to the website, see the e-blast, find out about all the interesting things that are going on in the Nashville area. And if you are organizing an event, go there and submit your event so that we can know about it and then we can come too. And come Monday to our roundtable. What kind of revolution? Thank you.
Of course, she uses her time to get everyone on the same page about community-wide issues, so thank you. Our next Lifetime Achievement Awards go to Dr. Charles and Blondell Strong Kimbrough. Whew. They have dedicated their lives towards working for equality and justice. If you put their years together, they've worked with the NAACP for over 115 years, which is incredible. Our community is a more just and better place because of these folks. Thank you.
We're really honored, me and my better 3/4. The NAACP is our area of volunteerism, and we are dedicated because whether it was Dr. King, and Lord knows I'm one of his earthly disciples, Thurgood Marshall, whomever, it was the NAACP that had their backs. Nashville being the Athens of the South, we hope that each of you would use the opportunity to join, yes, NAACP, so that we can continue to make a difference in diversity, dedication, and hope. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
The last recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award is June Roston. June has been active in anti-war work as well as community and labor organizing. She's currently with the AFL-CIO, and I've heard she's incredibly skilled at leading strategic and successful campaigns.
Well, I just want to thank my husband, who is one of those Southern workers who has stood beside of me and helped me while I tried to do my work to help other workers in the South organize. He worked for a company for 37 and a half years and was a very good worker, but he was laid off on February 11th, 2011. And he, like many other workers in this country who had given a lot of their lives to companies to do a good job, he pulled himself up by the boots. He collected unemployment for the first time and filed a lawsuit over age discrimination. And so, you know, even though we didn't get any big bucks, we made that company dig into their pockets to pay their high-priced lawyers. So this is for all the workers who are trying to organize, not only here in Tennessee, but everywhere, to win dignity, to win fair treatment on the job, and to have a voice in the workplace. Thank you for helping them.
Now we're going to our long haul awards. We've got some incredible people in this section as well, and I'm actually going to jump line for a second. And I want the first person we recognize to bring up tonight, Ingrid McIntyre, right over here. You may recognize Ingrid from a recent 60 Minutes segment. She is one of the co-founders and the executive director of Open Table Nashville. She currently works primarily on issues of homelessness and housing. She's my executive director, so she's pretty cool. Well, she also has a thing tonight. But she has spent her life, not just recently, working on issues of justice, whether that was housing rights or LGBT rights or workers' rights or labor rights. So we're just really excited to present this award to her.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm really humbled and honored to be here, and I appreciate the call that you gave us tonight. That was a call that we all need to be reminded of, and the encouragement that we needed. Sometimes, like you said, it's hard and we get tired, and I really appreciated your words this evening as we are running out of affordable housing in Nashville. And our work gets harder and harder as we house our friends that we're working with. That's been really hard for me this week, I think. One of those hurdles that and most people who know me know I don't take no for an answer, so I'm trying to knock that hurdle down and jump over it, but it does get difficult when you just run out of something, so we're trying to come up with some creative ways. But really just want to thank all of you for supporting all of us in the work that we love to do so that we're able to do this work, because I know that we can't just continue doing it without the support of our community, and so really appreciate the gift that you all give us to be able to continue the work that we're called to do. Thank you.
Now we're back in order. So I want to bring up for the next Long Haul Award, Cheryl Allen. Cheryl has also worked with the NAACP and currently works with United Campus Workers, organizing workers in higher education across the state of Tennessee, which is incredible. She's a proud mother, and she shows up at social justice issue events across the community, so she has her hands in everything.
Hello. I just want to say thank you. I appreciate this. I was really shocked when I got a text message and said that I was nominated for this award. It really shocked me, so I really appreciate it. And then told me that I won one. I was more shocked, so I appreciate it. The work that I do, I love it. And they said that God said everybody is here for a reason. And when your reason is up, then your number is called. Well, I'm here because organizing is what I love to do. And if it wasn't for organizing, helping people and working on all kinds of issues and problems, I don't think I will be effective. So thank you so much.
Our next recipient for the Long Haul Award is Scott Banbury. There he is right there. He's passionate about issues of social and environmental justice. His fingerprints are also on organizations across the state doing incredible work. And you currently live in Memphis, is that right?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, I moved to Memphis, Tennessee in 1989 to a quaint little community called North Memphis. Dumped upon by chemical corporations and other nasty nasties. And I am very proud to work with people across the state of Tennessee to address these social, environmental, ecological, and frankly, economic injustices that we have going on in our state. I can't speak for the community that I come from because I'm a privileged white male. But I do go down and raise holy hell before my city council, my county commission, and before the Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation to make sure that justice is done. And thank you very much.
We have another Sierra Club award, and we wanted to take advantage of this opportunity because it's so rare to have Scott dressed up for an occasion like this. So, could we call up Rachel Floyd? Rachel has, for years and years, done yeoman service for Sierra Club, some of the most thankless jobs, often specifically unthanked, and we thought we should take this opportunity to do something which we've been meaning to do for a long time. So Scott and I would like to present this to her. Scott?
Our next recipient is Blue Copus. All right. You may recognize him from The Daily Show, Good Morning America, or other things. He has been incredibly active on LGBT rights and a lot of other issues of justice. He's worked with a number of organizations across the state and beyond and has helped dismantle the please ask, or don't ask, don't tell, right? Policy nationally. So pretty amazing work. Thank you.
Thanks. This huge honor. I was gonna, after a little bit ago, I was gonna hire you to do my speech, but. So I think it's great that I'm here. I'm very energized. I think that was just as she said. Some of us are just called, and people ask me how I do as much as I do, and I don't understand sometimes. But just waking up and having to do it. Whether I want to accept my call or not, but I love it, and I just think it's great that as a young gay Tennessean growing up in East Tennessee, I was told that in order to fit in, I had to be silent, and it worked for a while, and I ended up in the Army, and then that didn't end so well, and I ended up out in the world and having to find my voice, and instead of hiding to fit in, like all of you are strangers. I have just a few people that I know scattered across the room, but I feel totally that I fit in, and it's from not being silent and from speaking out and from finding my voice. My energy is that I can empower someone else in East Tennessee or in Knoxville to earn their own Long Haul Award and to understand the power of their voice and how they can change the state. There are many opportunities for lesbian, gays, and bisexual and transgender to improve in Tennessee. Just yesterday in Knoxville, our mayor, who's been in support of our rights very energetically, her office got a bomb threat just because of her support for it. And so it's just a wake-up call that there are things that we have to put our foot down and keep moving forward and bringing in more community. And many of you don't look like me, and I don't look like you all, but that doesn't mean that we can't fight together. This is a very powerful room, and I wish that I could bring the people that I represent from Knoxville and from Johnson City, my hometown, to just see this kind of energy and what happens when we can come together. So thank you all for bringing me down from Knoxville, and I hope that one day I can be getting some kind of lifetime achievement, so if I can do that kind of work to continue. So I'll just keep waking up, answering the call. I appreciate it. Thank you all.
Our next Long Haul Award goes to Alex Friedman. Woo! Alex has been incredibly active in work around prisoners' rights and, dare I say, prison abolition, both behind bars and outside of bars and everywhere you can imagine. He is the Associate Director of the Human Rights Defense Center, among other things, and he is very active also in bringing down the prison industrial complex. So thank you for your work.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a great honor to be here, particularly given the many other candidates for this award who have done amazing work in social justice. To me, social justice is working on prisoners' rights and criminal justice reform, a system that is rife with racial and socioeconomic inequities and abuses, particularly by government officials. So this is the work that I was called to do. It is particularly difficult work because most people can get behind things like education reform and affordable housing and environmental issues. It is much more difficult to get behind prisoners' rights or reforming justice systems that are inherently abusive and inequitable because it involves people who have harmed society and advocating for those, the least of us, who are incarcerated. So great honor to be here, much appreciated and very grateful for this award. Thank you.
So now we're moving on to our Young Leaders Awards, and this is definitely the after 60 frame that we're in right now. And the first person we're gonna bring up is Tristan Call. Tristan has been a volunteer organizer with Workers' Dignity and Nashville Fair Food. He's also a PhD student at Vanderbilt in anthropology, which he doesn't talk about very much, but it's been interesting, I think. His primary task is accompanying struggling peoples and working toward land reform, workers' rights, labor rights, peasants' rights, all rights, really. So thank you, Tristan, for all of your work.
I'm not sure what persuaded the committee to select me for this, but I remember that when the nominations went out, I had just returned to Nashville from a grueling 10 weeks in Shelbyville, where a group of workers in a rural sweatshop there had reached out for support and help as they tried to take on the 6th largest bedding corporation in the country. With reports of beatings on the shop floor, of enormous widespread abuse we could talk a lot about. And I remember I had just returned from that, and so there's two thanks that I want to make. One is to Workers' Dignity, which is an organization that I've been involved with, and a lot of those in this room have been involved with since it began a few years ago as an organization that is deeply committed to those who have the most currently at stake, have the most to lose, and have the most to gain with some deep reforms in how our economy treats workers, a deep commitment to respecting the leadership of those workers in leading and prosecuting their own struggle. I think Workers' Dignity because it trained me in how to act, in those struggles, in what Judy Cummings mentioned, in how to listen, in a community that I was not from, in Shelbyville, in a job that I had never worked, but with skills and talents to share. Workers' Dignity trained me in how to apply those. And the second is I want Julio Fernandez to stand up. Párate. If you haven't met Julio, meet Julio. He is one of the most dynamic organizers in the state of Tennessee. And Julio is the one that invited me to Shelbyville and that taught me there what to do during that time. Julio was instrumental in putting together the committee of fast food workers that went on strike this morning in Nashville. Thank you.
Our next Young Leader Award goes to a dear sister of my heart, Daria DJ Hudson. Woo. DJ just finished her Master's of Divinity from Vanderbilt Divinity School. Woo. Awesome. She is so committed and passionate to issues of economic and social justice that I can't even tell you about it. But she's also been incredibly passionate lately about healing justice in the community of organizers, which is, as we all know, incredibly important. She's worked with Urban Epicenter, the Center for Community Change, and countless other groups. And her words and her spirit and her writing are as powerful as they are prophetic. So thank you, DJ.
First of all, definitely thanks, y'all. Sitting there at the table, I was thinking about the last time I graduated in Nashville, when I graduated from Fisk in 2010. I had another graduation march that was really important to me, which is when I got to march with my heroes, Jim Lawson and Diane Nash, in the 50-year commemoration march of the bombing of Z. Alexander Luby's house, which we called April 10th. That happened a couple weeks before I marched across the stage at Fisk, and I really can't tell you which ceremony was more important to me, but I think what mattered most was being able to celebrate how my learning in the academy has been informed by my experiences in the streets of Nashville. And there are so many of you all in here who have been my teachers, who have been fellow students, who are friends, that this feels definitely like another reaffirmation of how much I love this city, how much I love this community, and how committed I am to working for it and with it. Thank you so much for this award. It means tons to me. Don't tell my mom, but maybe almost as much as my diploma does. And it only reaffirms to me that this is where I belong and this is where I'll be for a long time. So thank you.
So our next recipient for the Young Leader Award is Brenda Perez. Brenda is one of the lead organizers with Workers' Dignity. She's also very passionate and active in immigration reform. And she too is entering Vanderbilt Divinity School in the fall.
But I'm not quitting organizing, because that's where my heart is and that's what got me here. First off, I just really wanted to say thank you, and it's quite an honor to be here. But I really wanted to open up the floor to my co-organizer, member of Workers' Dignity, John Taylor, who has done amazing work and has been behind organizing workers in Nashville and then the fast food workers and construction workers, and I think he can say it best.
First of all, I'd like to give all the glory to God above. Without him, I wouldn't be here. But Workers' Dignity in my life is just as we bring it out. Tristan wears the T-shirt. That is not a big fish. That's a lot of small fish going after the big fish. And that's what we do. And, you know, when you get workers together and you let them know their rights and let them know what they're doing is dignified, you will be surprised the outcome. I think we're batting a high average. I don't want to jinx us, but we're batting a high average when we go after these big fish. And the last thing I like to say is one of the words that I love to hear us say: workers united would never be defeated. Thank y'all.
And that's what we do right there, man. Without John, we I don't know where we'd be. So, and leaders like John and Mariana Lopez, who received this award a couple years ago, and Julio, who received this award too, are just amazing and have made me comfortable enough to organize and put my body on the line and just be like, no, no, I'm throwing it back at you. It's because that's what we have to do. And like Dr. Cummins said, we can't be the most popular ones, but we're gonna make things different and better. And I really just wanted to say too, because this is the third Thursday, which is, for those of you who know our work, is when we open up all the new cases. So as we were sitting here at our worker center, there was workers that were sitting around tables just like yours and chairs just like those that fold down, opening up new cases with people who are stepping forward when their bosses would not pay them, and just really recognize and appreciate that. And honestly, we can't do that work without you guys either. You know, so any way that you want to pitch in and help, from childcare, like Mr. Brett Fleener has done and Lauren Plummer have done back there, and Grace, to becoming one of our monthly donors or any sort of thing. We can't do this work without you, but we will do it.
Our next Young Leader Award goes to Lauren Plummer. Woo. Lauren is also one of my dear coworkers at Open Table Nashville. She is doing incredible work around homelessness and housing rights, but she also does a lot of work around all issues of economic injustice and labor rights and workers' rights, watching babies, at workers' dignity, and all kinds of things. But what her work is, she does healing work around healing bodies and healing broken systems. So she's also entering Vanderbilt Divinity School in the fall. So that's kind of cool. It's supposed to be the school of the prophets, and I think we're reclaiming that right here and right now.
Thanks, everyone. I was thinking today, as I was driving around the city, checking on some of my friends who have recently moved into housing and waiting with those who are still waiting, how strange it sort of is to be receiving this award for doing work that I love and feel really, really lucky to get to do every day. I still feel really young in this work, but if I've done something admirable, I feel so strongly that it's because I've had the best teachers, many of whom I see sitting in front of me, who have taught me how to love and fight fiercely and steadily. I see folks like DJ and Brenda and Tristan and Lindsay and Ingrid and Madge and Pete and all of my Open Table and Nashville organizing family. And it's because of you guys that I'm able to do this. I'm also really aware tonight and all the time of how much work there still is to be done as development hits our city and pushes people already on the margins farther out of the little affordable housing that we do have, as the criminalization of poverty runs rampant. And even I'm aware of tomorrow friends that we have who are camping on the banks of the Cumberland River, whose camp is slated to be bulldozed, even though they have nowhere else to legally exist right now. So I'm aware of all this work, but I also feel really hopeful with all of you here tonight. And thankful and grateful, and I'm looking forward to being in this work. There's a long road ahead, but looking forward to being in it for a long time with all of you. Thank you.
And last but not least, our last progressive award tonight goes to Charles White. Charles has been incredibly active in issues of environmental and economic justice, and he sees those two as very connected. The struggles of the earth and the struggles of the people. So you do that work, and we're very thankful for that with the Sierra Club. And also, it says at the very bottom, which is what I love, that you would love to be everyone's friend. So we thank you for your work.
Hi, new friends. I'd really like to thank my parents for being here tonight, man. Without them, I wouldn't be here. And I thank them for putting up with me through the growth of the past 5 years as I've learned to be like a kind of humble, calm activist and only be fierce when really necessary. So my story a little bit just is I grew up in the United Methodist Church, and through their encouragement got involved in mission work. And when I first found out that coal mining was even a thing that was bad and kind of gross and created a lot of economic poverty in the areas where it's happening, I was on a mission trip in eastern Kentucky, and just seeing the coal trucks run by and the rampant poverty in these communities out there. And, I didn't really know what it was at that point in time. I know now. It's this institutionalization of wealth that just leaves, like the wealth just leaves. Where does it go? It all just leaves and leaves destruction and poison and everything. And so I'm really, really thankful for that. And I also grew up in the Boy Scouts, so I had, a deep kind of love of the wilderness and nature and the beauty that we can find when, it's nice to all get together in a room like this, but man, let's all get together like in a field somewhere around a fire and, tell each other stories of the way things were and the way things are and the way things will be when we create it, right? So I really want to thank everybody here. I found the Sierra Club a couple of years ago, and it's become a new home for me. I really love all these people that I've been working with, and I just moved to Nashville a month ago. I know some of you, I don't know a lot of you, and I'd love to be everybody's friend. So thanks for an award.
This is such an uplifting event because, we can get really down on the mouth about what's going on in Tennessee, but when you come to a war, we come here and you hear what's going on and you see the great people out doing this work every day, day in and day out, a lot of times for no pay, little pay, and they hang in there, and especially I'm inspired by all these great young activists that we have coming up. I mean, they are the future. I mean, you just can't be too down in the mouth when you see what we've got here in Nashville. So I just want to thank everybody for coming, and remember, we're all in this together. That's been Tapp's motto long before Bill Clinton ever said it, okay? It was Ben Tapp's motto.
This is a surprise. We are honoring Nell with a special Lifetime Long Haul Award.
Wow, I'm completely surprised. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.